Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video, this is going to be my prediction for the next death battle. So the next death battle is going to be between Magneto versus Tetsuo Shima. Now, Magneto I knew a decent amount about, but Tetsuo I had no idea who the heck he was at all. So I had to do a lot of research on this. So what I found out was they're very similar backstories. They were both experimented on. They were both treated horribly, went through some horrible stuff as kids, and because of that, really don't like people, which is just wonderful. Specifically, Magneto doesn't like non-mutants, and Tetsuo just doesn't like most people. Most people, not everybody. I don't want anyone to think that he hates everybody, mostly probably the government than anything else. So let's talk about Magneto first. So there's some things that we know is he has magnetic manipulation, but what that does is a variety of things. So he can do so much with that power. So he's considered an Omega level mutant, which is one of the strongest types of mutants there are out there. With his magnetic kinesis, which is just basically manipulation of magnetic fields, is he can create magnetic force fields that are strong enough to take a blast from the Phoenix Force, the Avengers, X-Men, able to go against multiple nuclear weapons, volcanic eruptions, the depths of space, and even plasma attacks that were hotter than the sun, and of course attacked by Ghost Rider and Hercules, all while still being able to keep his magnetic force field intact. He has a magnetic armor, which allows it to kind of strengthen the bonds in his material, in his uniform, to make it much more like an armor. Because of that, he can actually take hits from Colossus and Namor and stay conscious. He has magnetic rays. He can shoot powerful rays, electromagnetic pulses that can destroy both metallic and non-metallic objects. He's also one-hitted Iron Man, destroyed a mountain, done a lot of stuff. He has flight, which isn't all that surprising. He's able to manipulate the magnetic field lines to help him fly. He has a geomagnetic link, which allows him to know what's going around on to the magnetic field on the planet he's on. He can reduce gravity around himself. He has metal and matter manipulation, so he has metal morphing. He's also able to do this with non-metallic objects as long as they have particles inside of it that are metal. So like if they're molecules and they're combined with some sort of metal, but they are actually not metal, he can actually manipulate them. He also has the ability to manipulate organic iron, specifically those inside the body. So he can actually hurt somebody from the inside out. He can see electromagnetics. He has electromagnetic sight, which he can see the magnetic and electrical fields around him. He has electromagnetic spectrum manipulation. So this is electricity manipulation to a certain extent. He apparently can create wormholes that can get him from one spot to the other instantly, although it's not really explained how. And he also can manipulate light, and he can actually sense when there's a dimensional rift around. He can astral project, which means he can actually make a astral projection of himself, which is kind of like your soul leaving your body. He is telepathic resistant, so that's very important to know. And his helmet actually helps with that as well, specifically combined with his metallic abilities. So he's a genius intellect. He is, he can do a lot of things overall. He is actually able to compete with Tony Stark and Reed Richards to a certain extent in some things. He's a skilled combatant, multilingual, indominant will, so he's actually striving to complete his goals so nobody can stop him. And then his weaknesses, his physical conditions. So the weaker he is physically, the weaker his powers are. So the more damage he sustains or tired he is, his abilities significantly get weaker because of that. So if he overuses or extends his powers in any way in a short amount of time, he can actually become weaker because of that. And also he can get headaches, which I find hilarious to me, but I guess it can mess with his abilities as well. But it has to do with the magnetic. It's one of the side effects of apparently his powers. So his equipment is his helmet, which helps him shield his mind from psychics. He has armor that he creates. His weapons relies on primarily his natural powers overall. He doesn't really use much of anything else. He is capable of flying with his own power, which I've already talked about. My apologies. And that's overall where we are with him. So then we have Tetsuo Shima. So apparently he was experimented on by the government, which increased or sped up, the development of his powers. His body physically became stronger because of a result of it. So that develops his superhuman healing, endurance, temperature resistance, and amplified all by his psychic powers. So he uses telekinesis on objects and humans. He can teleport, mind read, create force fields that allow him to travel into space. After his arm was blown off by a satellite, he was able to use technopathy, which is basically just a manipulation of technology to form a prosthetic on his arm. He's actually also learned how to manipulate and block light. He's been able to create a powerful blast that was so refined that as it split off in multiple directions, he was also it was able to split off into multiple directions. He has the ability of resurrecting somebody, but unfortunately cannot bring them fully back to life. Meaning, if they were shot in the head, anything that was fully damaged might not come back, and they'd be in suffering agony. So that's always fun. And this one's weird. I'm not quite sure what this means, and I've been trying to look at it much more, but I couldn't figure it out. So apparently, when his powers take over, he is able to go beyond. The powers are able to go beyond his limits, which I'm not quite sure how his power takes over. I've tried to look, and I haven't been able to figure that out. But apparently, with him and AKIRA, they can create a Big Bang in an alternate universe with their powers. So. But it takes two of them, so just a fun fact for the kids. So he can still probably create a powerful blast, but probably not enough to as significant as the Big Bang, I should say. So the thing I have with these two, all right. So Tetsu is able to use his full power pretty much without any issues. I assuming he gets fatigued at some point, but if he takes a lot of damage, it doesn't seem to weaken his abilities at all. Where Magneto is the opposite. The longer the battle goes, the weaker he's going to become, which is going to be a very big issue for him. So Magneto's going to need to finish the fight rather quickly. That being said, I don't want you to think that Magneto is going to lose just because the fight's going to go too long. He's been doing this for a long time. He is a skilled fighter. He has a lot more experience than Tetsu, and because of that experience in fighting foes, I would say equal to Shima. I mean, he's gone up against the Phoenix Force and survived, and actually, done a decent job against them. So I imagine that he would be able to hold his own against Shima, where Shima, I don't think, has actually faced too many people that are similar to him, or at least not to the same extent, in my opinion. I mean, I've been wrong before, but I don't see that as the big thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with based on experience, and pretty much their powers are very similar. I think Tetsu has a bigger energy output than Magneto potentially, just from what I'm reading. But overall, I think Magneto still has the experience that he's gone up against foes much stronger than him and still won and survived. So with all that experience and combat training and his ability to kind of manipulate technology with his genius level intellect, I'm thinking more times than not, Magneto's going to beat Tetsu. That being said, obviously, the longer the fight goes, the more Magneto is going to get weaker. But as of right now, I'm going to go with Magneto winning this fight based on his skill level, his intelligence, and also his experience. His power is, like I said, very similar to Tetsu. Tetsu's is similar to his. Possibly Tetsu is stronger than him in the sense of energy output-wise. But I don't think it's so different that it's going to be a huge factor in this. But who knows? I've been wrong a lot, so I'm hoping I'm right on this one. So, end of story. I'm going with Magneto as the winner of this death battle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm crazy? Please let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great day.